What was the deciding factor as you saw it?
Wait.
Okay.
I did know them. I just didn't know that the team that loses a Super Bowl still have a party. I didn't know that. Of course, because I never lost the Super Bowl.
Oh, bingo!
I really didn't know it.
Touche.
I really didn't know that.
Yeah.
Still do it.
We'll talk about that.
We're going to talk about that.
Richard
crazy.
did not attend
Right.
the one 4 years ago.
I don't blame him. Like, wait a minute. Ain't nothing to party about.
Yeah, I can't imagine the energy at that place. But I think the deciding factor was the punt, the muffed punt Ray didn't muff it. It hit Luter's foot. But that
By the way, he's a rookie 5th rounder out of South Alabama.
Right.
Okay.
And in those plays, fans get so enamored. They're like, oh, you gotta be aware. It's like, no, he's not looking at the punt returner. He's looking at the guy he's blocking, trying to make sure he gets him. And, it's one of those, a mistake. But an honest mistake. And I think that was a turning point in the game because after that play, Kansas City hadn't scored. They had 6 points. They had 2 field goals. They had no offensive rhythm. Had just gotten stopped. Right here, for all intents and purposes, they were not, they didn't look like they were going to score before this half. And
Agreed.
Then that play happens. They get an immediate touchdown. They get momentum. They start to move. They start to believe. And that's when the game turned around for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that was a huge play in the game. Obviously, after that point, both teams played really well. I think both quarterbacks executed down the stretch. Both defenses made plays throughout the game. But I think that was the turning point in the game.
When I'm looking at this game, and the beginning of that game, I was like, oh my God, this is about to be an annihilation. This is what it looked. It looked like the 49ers were the Chiefs weren't ready for it.
Agreed.
It looked like they were not ready. And that defensive line, it just swarmed. And the whole Kansas City Chiefs offense just disappeared every time. I was like, this is about to be over. It looked like early that game was going to be over. San Fran makes a few drives, but you don't close the deal.
No.
Right. And that changes the game right there because you left Patrick Mahomes hanging around. You didn't put a dagger. And you wouldn't have knocked him out the first half, but you could have put some space in between.
Right.
You could have.
Some space in between. A lot of people are getting on the decision late to take the ball early. I thought
in overtime.
I thought when that defense came back on that last drive, that defense was still exhausted.
Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that defense going right back out there.
No.
It would have been nothing.
It would have been nothing.
It would have been nothing. So, I don't agree with that. With Kyle Shanahan had to make a decision for his team. Like, okay, because even they were exhausted in that last drive. So you know how exhausted they would have been. So I was okay with that. That missed extra point. That was.
It loomed large the whole game.
Right. Right. Now even that, because you knew, now they got a field goal.
Yep.
So now they're playing. They got a tie.
Right.
And that puts him out. That was, oh my God, that right there.
Yep.
It goes back to what we talked about, guys. Honestly, last week, what makes Patrick Mahomes as great as he is he always makes the right decisions at the right time. We can break down what San Fran did do or what San Fran should have done, but it comes back to what 1-5 always does. And he always makes the right decision at the right time. And watching them play like this and doing what he did, you really start saying, if he wins, what did that performance mean to me yesterday? If he wins another Super Bowl, then you start saying, I don't need to see him win 7. If he gets to 4, so he can at least clear Joe and Bradshaw, maybe you sit here saying, Tom has 3 more, but you're still looking at the baddest dude to ever play that position. in the way he has played has just been incredible. You got to give 1-5 all his credit. In his buddy, Batman, Robin, Batman, whatever y'all want to call that thing with him and Travis Kelce. But it is unstoppable. And they play the best in the best moments. You got to just give them the credits and give them their flowers.
All right, before I respond to you saying if he gets to 5, it's over, right?
Yeah, if he gets 5, it's over.
It's over?
If he gets to 4, we can have some more.
Seems like you'd have to get to 8 before it'd be over. But that's just me.
Skip. But you see this, Skip.
Okay.
No, you
Skip,
you see different. You see different now.
We will hit that head on in just a few minutes.
Yeah, we will. Yes, okay.
All right. Back to both your points. Back to Richard's point. Again, you played for this team 4 years ago. You know Kyle. You like Brock. We all like Brock. But I told, you weren't here on Friday, but I told Michael and Keyshawn, for me, I think I told you this earlier in the week, it's still boiling down to this. Am I picking 1-5 here? Am I picking Patrick Mahomes? Or am I taking Brock Purdy on the biggest stage in his second year of starting as the final pick in the draft? On the biggest stage, am I going Andy Reid or Kyle? And I like Kyle. I especially like him off. I think I like him off the field more than I like him on the field. But as far as big game coaching goes, I'm taking Andy Reid. And I got to tell you, there are a couple of wizard calls last night. The 4th and 1 in overtime, putting the ball in Patrick's hands on the sort of the Reid option.
Right.
It was sweet.
Yeah, but the decision is what makes it sweet. Patrick says, if I get this, I'm going to hold on to this ball.
He did.
I'm not risking even throwing it, and I'm Patrick Mahomes. That's
okay. And I told you, in the end, the best receiver on the field, despite all those great weapons, and George Kittle's really good. He didn't have much of a game last night. They didn't feature him last night, or maybe he was taken away. But Travis Kelce, in part because of the woman that he now loves up in the box, he's going to rise and shine at some point in the game and take it over. And in the second half, he caught 8 balls for 92 yards after in the first half he caught 1 ball for 1 yard. Finally, he broke loose, and they broke loose. So give me Patrick, give me Andy, give me Travis. But to your points, you had this. You had it again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
You had it coming out of halftime when you led 10-3. You were 10-0 until late in the half, and Mahomes finally snapped out of it enough to get 3. So it's 10-3. And the Chiefs have the ball because they deferred the opening kickoff. And right away, Patrick Mahomes looked completely discombobulated. He looked flustered. He looked befuddled, and he throws an interception. And if we could see this, please, I'm thinking, this feels over to me. This feels like it's about to be over. He bolts up the pocket, and he tries to find 87, and he overthrows him, and the rookie Brown picks it. And I'm thinking, whoa, now you've got the ball at their 44-yard line. If you take this home, it's 17-3, and it felt like they were capable of taking it home. Help me out. If it's 17-3, can Patrick come back on that? I don't know. Maybe, but I'm going to have my doubts at that point.
Right. Okay. What you were seeing anyway from that defense, we were seeing the domination of the defensive line on that offensive line.
Okay, so you have the ball there, and you go 3 and out. And you get the ball back again, and you go 3 and out. And you get the ball back again. We're all talking about the third quarter here. And you go 3 and out. And I'm saying, wait a second. On those 3 possessions, Brock Purdy throws it 7 times and goes 2 of 7 for -1 yards, okay? That won't work. Not in this game, not on this stage, not against that guy.
What did Patrick do? Because Patrick was getting stopped as well.
Okay, he was also getting stopped. I'll get to that. But he's not responding at all. He's not taking advantage at all.
Well, does a quarterback matter in that situation, or if they're both playing that way?
3 straight 3 and outs, and Christian McCaffrey, whom you love and pushed for the MVP. He touches the ball one time on a rush. He runs the ball 1 time in 3 series for 0 yards, but he just got 1 crack at it. And he caught 1 ball for 7 yards, but it was on a 3rd and forever, and it didn't matter. It didn't help. Okay, so Brock Purdy on those 3 series is 2 for 7 for -1. It's not good enough because they kept saying, here, Patrick, here, Andy, how about you? Here, Travis, you want it, you want it, you want it. Yeah, once again, San Francisco's defense rose up after 3 straight 3-and-outs, and they said, no, we got one last stand in us. And they're sweating, and it's getting scary out there, but they hang on, and they shut down Patrick Mahomes and make them punt.
Right.
And what happens? What you said happened. Mm-hmm. They punt it, and they botch it. So you cannot give them. And they were so discombobulated after they muffed the punt. Mm-hmm. Again, the kid just kicked it. It hit his foot.
Right, hit his back foot.
Yeah. And Ray tries to corral it, and he can't.
Right.
And it's a disaster because the defense can't get set in time. And Patrick hits him right out of the box with a 16-yarder to MVS. And all of a sudden, I look up, and I'm thinking, wait a second. The Chiefs are ahead?
Right.
They're ahead 13-10. You had them, and you don't got them.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. If we could see what happens, then let's look at the block kick. Then you go 75 yards and 12, and I'm thinking Brock got it back. He got his rhythm back. And they go 75 yards, and they score, and then the rookie kicker hits it a little low. It looked like the snap was fine. I just think he hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit it off his ankle.
Yeah. And it gets blocked.
Yeah,
and this is a huge play because it's a crusher, because you don't put the exclamation point on the touchdown, and you know in your heart of hearts you're going to be chasing that point the rest of the game.
And that's what happened.
Right?
And that's what happened.
All right. And still, final drive in the fourth quarter for Kansas City. Down, it's the second to last drive. It's 6:35 left. If we could see this, you got one last hurrah, and it's 3rd and goal at the 3-yard line, and they stop Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Patrick did not cash this play. He looks, he rolls, he bolts, he cuts up, he thinks maybe he can get it with his legs, and he can't get it. Well, I thought at that point they were going to lose because I thought Patrick from 3rd and goal on the 3, he's going to cash that. Well, he didn't cash that. And so you held him, and now it's 16-16. Mm-hmm. And then it comes down to you get 2 more cracks at it. Brock Purdy gets a 3rd and 5 at the 35 with 2 minutes left. 3rd and 5 at the 35. And McDuffie, who is the best corner blitzer, I think, in the league. I've been watching all year long. Every time I look up, he comes off as hot as anybody comes off. He's got great timing. He's got great anticipation.
Right.
And they didn't use it all game until this play.
Right.
And he disguises, and kaboom, he bolts, and he blows up the play.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That's your one play. If you can cash that, if you can go score, you're going to win the game. But that was your chance.
But I'll say this. In overtime, fourth quarter and overtime, Brock Purdy had 3 to take the lead drives or to tie it. He responded every time. So you could sit here and tell me, I would rather have Patrick Mahomes, but you are also sitting here telling me in the same situations you're saying Brock Purdy struggled, Patrick Mahomes struggled.
Okay, he did.
Play after play after play after drive after drive.
But the last 2 drives, Brock only got field goals when against that guy you needed a touchdown.
Right, but in the last drive of the game, he needed a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, he got stopped, held to a field goal. So, again, it didn't come down to, oh, man, Brock Purdy got tremendously outplayed by Patrick Mahomes. They just ran into situations where they were too undisciplined. They had the holding call on a second down play that you just can't have the penalties that they consistently have. They were drive killers. There was multiple offsides, like false starts that are just undisciplined plays.
Right. Brock Purdy served himself well in the game. He just didn't win the game, but he's still, he's not Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No, and no one is. And Patrick Mahomes made sure he stood up and said that no one is with the way he played. That was a phenomenal game, the way he played. Now, Skip, and to the coaching, let me tell you the brilliance of Andy Reid. You were just talking about this 3rd and 3. Mm-hmm. That was, what quarter was that?
It was right at the end of the Patrick play. Well, that was 6 minutes left in regulation.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Andy was holding that last touchdown. He was holding. He didn't even use it there.
No.
Because he knew he was going to need that in overtime.
Yeah. It's the play they call corn dog. It's the reverse motion play.
Holding, the one that we were talking about. See, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about right there.
Yeah.
Now, any other coach pulls out whatever he has right there at that point. Right there at that point.
Yeah.
So now when you have to come back to that play or come back and need that play during the game, you know what's coming. We've already seen it. And they held it, man. And then dropped that card on you at the right time. Bam!
Kaboom.
And just said, Trump.
Right.
It's over.
He did. And
That's
it was a
mismatch
mismatch on that
That's
play.
Brilliant
right.
coaching. That's
yes, it
brilliant
is.
coaching. That's
He is
brilliant
chess master at the highest
he's a
level.
master.
No question. That was a great call. That was a great call. It was a great understanding of the coverage. And it's still, I was talking to you. I don't understand why every team doesn't run that play, because when you get to that motion, every team has to run man coverage. When you're 5 and in, you don't have any other choice. Otherwise, you're going to get decimated. So when you start to move people, it's too many bodies in there in too close proximity.
And when he reverses, he gets a head start on you where it's not fair.
Right.
It's like
they got you either way.
Yeah.
Because either you got to go through the linebackers and safeties all the way across the field.
Yeah.
Hopefully you beat him to the corner, or you start to go that way and he went the other way.
This was the Jerry Rice special. He did it again and again, and nobody could cover him. Dallas couldn't cover him. Right.
And he did. And but you Sherman, you said something very interesting. Because when that receiver is coming down and you're flowing with him, at some point, if you want to kick them over, he's like, I got to wait till you get past the center. Right. Because he can go all the way over to the center and then come all the way back. Right. So, it's... Yeah,
and if you lose him
difficult.
As a corner, if you lose him behind the offensive lineman, you have to assume where he's at. Because you can't sit there and see through the offensive line. You moving at full speed. Right. You got to assume he's going the other way.
And that's what happened as the game went on. Kansas City just started hitting all the crossing routes, all kinds of crossers and everything. And once you started hitting those crossers and Travis Kelce got going, then things started changing real quick, and 1-5 just took over.
All right, and Brock Purdy got one more shot in overtime. It's 3rd and 4 at the 9. Mm-hmm. If you can cash one of these, you're going to win the football game. But you have to make a play. You have to block the right people, and they didn't block the game record, Chris Jones.
Colton McKivitz, the right tackle.
He
busts on this play. He obviously is responsible.
It's just a bust. And there, you got nothing. You got no shot. It's just basically a throwaway so you don't take a sack.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that's just a bust by the right tackle. He misread the play because George Kittle was responsible for the end. He's responsible for Chris Jones standing right there in front of him. You bust on the best player they got.
Best player.
Defense.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just a mistake.
And by the way, they had blocked him.
But you can't have it here. There's a mistake that says, no, not here.
Not here.
Right.
This is the crucial part of this game, and now you lose that Super Bowl. We're talking about San Francisco. Look at it. These are all the little mistakes. The punt. You can't give. You
cannot. You can't miss the. You can't get the point block.
You can't miss that. You can't miss Chris Jones on the most crucial block. But again,
the first drive you fumble. You look great in that first drive.
Can't fumble.
And you
that's
fumble right there.
Arguably your best offensive player.
Right.
Okay. Can't do it. All right. So if I sum this up and I look at the second half alone, just 3rd and 4th quarters, the offense goes 2 of 8 on 3rd down. It's not good enough against that guy. Maybe against somebody else, maybe against Neil O'Donnell when you guys played Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl, you could get away with it, but not against this guy. And for the game, Brock Purdy's offense goes 3 of 12 on 3rd. It's on 3rd down. It's not good enough.
Right.
You've got your chances. You've shown you can move the ball. You have some long drives. One ended in a fumble. One, you hit Juwan Jennings for a touchdown. You showed me, you can do that, and you can do that.
Right.
But when it's time to seize control, where you say, where you're going to put the dagger in, you can't put the dagger in, and if you let him have a little bit of life and a little bit of life,
a little bit of hope,
they're
gonna give up that
finally,
effort.
as Patrick said after the game, once that Chris Jones blows that play up, once you hold him to 3, Patrick said after the game, he said, and he and Kelsey were being interviewed, I think it was on ESPN, and they both said, hey, as soon as they go field goal, we knew in our hearts the game was over, and I believe they did think the game was over. And Patrick was extraordinary in that final drive because he made, again, we talked about the 4th and 1 play, if we could see that again.
Difference.
Yeah. And they had time they called a timeout before they called this, 4th and 1. This is ball game. And again, it's kind of a run pass option where you can just keep it off the right side. And they played Bosa played it inside, obviously, and let him have. Yeah.
But he talked about this. He said, I'm going to hold on to this ball because he knew the crucialness of it.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to try to throw that ball any little sliver.
He was not.
He was going to take it.
And then on 3rd and 6 at the 46, he hits Rice on a crossing route, and it was a nice throw because they brought some pressure, and they got up in Patrick's face. And this is really this is big time under pressure. There's some pressure in his face, and Rice gets loose, and then finally he hits, he's got the scramble. We had a 19.
Okay.
Although at first I thought this was a quarterback draw, but I don't think it was. I think he just bolted.
Yeah, he just scrambled.
Yeah, he just said, nope, I'm out of here, and that was a big play. And then just to drive it home, he hits Kelsey. I thought Kelsey was going to score at the end of the game, and I thought it was fitting. I thought Kelsey should have won the game.
Right here.
It's just, I thought maybe he'd get this
play.
home. Yeah,
That's another good play Andy Reid held.
Right.
You see what I mean?
He did.
That
Middle
misdirection,
screen to
middle
the tight
screen.
end.
Right. He faked the outside like he was going outside. It's just, and I knew they would have some new stuff. I know they do middle screen a lot, but just at the right time, deliver the right plays.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
No question. Because he knew pressure was going to get there. They were desperate. You get to a situation where you're chasing as a defense, and they took advantage.
Okay, so to both of your points, you had multiple opportunities, and you just did not seize those moments.
Yeah, you can't have the special teams blunder because to that point they don't have any momentum offensively. They have no rhythm. They have nothing going for it. If you give away points like that, it's going to be tough to win any game.
Yeah,
all of it, all of the mistakes and the mishaps. You can't win at that level with those mistakes. That's just the reality. We talk about it all the time. You know, regular season, you get another week. Right here, you just lost the Super Bowl.
Right.
All right, I can't wait to talk about this with Michael and Keyshawn Johnson. Travis Kelce bumping Andy Reid on the sideline out of raw anger. Man, it seems so out of bounds. Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.